um, that you may have increased law enforcement with long guns being at the forefront and being very visible. I can only imagine, because this was, as we are learning, that this was a shooter, most likely outside the event. But from what I'm reading and seeing in early reports, not that far with a long gun, that you're going to have increased aerial protection. So whether it be drones, any other type of um, aerial protection where it gives eyes and ears to law enforcement who are at the ready to deal with any type of sniper situation. Or, for example, you may now extend your perimeter. So if they had X amount of yards, that was their perimeter, and they realize there's a building or something else that's outside that perimeter that maybe they didn't give that good of attention to, that they are going to increase that perimeter um, to a point that, hey, we're not taking anything for granted, and that building or that building is going to be locked down, and perhaps put snipers on roofs. And so thereby, you're really going to just close down any potential threat from afar, from within.
And I do want to take you out to this live image here. This is over in Butler, Pennsylvania, where the shooting did happen. And this is actually a road a little bit ways away, but you can see there's still flashing lights and the investigation is really just getting underway. I do want to get your take on this, though. Attendees have claimed they were trying to let the Secret Service and other law enforcement know of the gunman crawling around on a roof, but they say that no one was listening. I imagine there has to be some kind of full-fledged investigation into the response as well as of the act itself.
Yeah, as an amazing response that you saw yesterday, there's no doubt that there was a breach. And so the Secret Service, who is best at policing its own and trying to figure out what went wrong, that shot should have never gotten off. And so thereby, not pointing any fingers at anyone, but there was a breach. And so security failed in that regard. And so Secret Service is going to go back and do an intense investigation to determine everything that you had just said with regards to witnesses and bystanders saying, we saw something out of place. And, and so those witnesses are going to be interviewed. I can guarantee you that thousands and thousands of cell phones that are up and filming everything, that Secret Service and the FBI, for investigative reasons, and then of course to ensure what and how did this breach take place, so we can ensure internal protocols, etc., do not repeat where there can be such a breach of security again. So all that is taking place, I guarantee, right now. And a witness may see something and then alert authorities. It would be interesting to see how long that was before. So, for example, the moment that a bystander, an attendee says, "I see something," and it looks out of place to me, is that is it possible that that is a Secret Service or some other law enforcement agency on top of a rooftop? Um, and and it's enough to for the attendee to say, I'm going to alert authorities, right? If you see something, say something. And so thereby I'm going to alert authorities and see what they say. And so it'd be interesting to see just how that information trickled, who got that information, and did that information get communicated out and it just wasn't in time? Or was it something that somebody on the ground in law enforcement received that information and neglected to pass that information forward, just like an attendee did, coming out and communicating that to law enforcement? So all that is definitely going to play a part not only in the criminal investigation, but the internal protocols that Secret Service has in order to ensure nothing like this can happen again.